scena la 20 km masta in classico per la categoria maschile. Under 23.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome everybody to the FIS Cross Country Under 23 World Ski Championships in Italy, Schilpario, Bergamo 2025. Ready for the start of the
Welcome back to Schilpario. It's day 4 of the World Cross Country Ski Championships, the under 23 category, the highest category of athletes racing this week in northern Italy. Just about 5 minutes or so to go before the start of the men's 20k mass start in the classic style. 4th day of lovely sunshine here in northern Italy. Some brilliant races earlier on in the women's field. Careful attention being paid to the ski prep. A little bit of a balancing act actually as we try and get the wax perfect, given that about half of the course stays in the shade in the woods and half of the course now has had sun on it for an hour or so. More of the course will be exposed to the sun as the race goes on. So all of the teams just trying to find the perfect balance, especially when it comes to the kick wax. 4 decent hills in this 4-kilometer course, all of which are skiable. And by that I mean almost no need to break into a herringbone technique to use the edges to get up the hill. Stiff climbs, but all the kind of climb where the stronger skiers at least will be able to maintain, you might call the 2-phase diagonal stride technique that makes good use of that kick wax in the middle of the ski there. Last few minutes of prep going on, and the athletes given the skis that they will race on. Gone are the days, I think, when the best in the world athletes prepare their own skis before the start of the race, as it was back in the past. Now it is a brilliant science and a big team, usually of technicians, at least for 5 or 6 of the most successful nations, let's say. France being one of those. All of the warm-ups have been completed. As much ski testing as could be done has been done by the teams from earlier on this morning. Obviously we had the women's race that finished about 45 minutes ago. and they've got the feedback from the girls to help them. The temperature, it was -2 when the women started earlier, and -6 snow. It's now up into the plus, and it will only get warmer as the race goes on. The air temperature, though, still nice and cool. Mons Skogland of Norway. We got of Sweden, sorry, we got sight of him just a minute ago. Here's a quick look down the start list. Good to see so many nations on the first page, the first 2 pages. Big field from Canada, 4 men racing, all sort of ranked in the top 30, and that giving just an indication of what is expected. Gabe Gledhill of Great Britain going off in bib number 48. 7 World Cup starts so far for Gabe, including 3 in Konya last week, where he raced alongside James Clooney in the team sprints, did the individual sprints on the Saturday and did the longer race on the Sunday as well. Good prep for him as he was just fine-tuning before the biggest race of his career so far, which is this race today. Martino Corolla of Italy, part of the World Cup squad now for 2 years, so vastly experienced. Nico Antola, part of the Senior World Championships team for Finland 2 years ago, did the anchor leg and secured a silver plate, out sprinting Friedrich Moch on that day. Holbeck of Norway in bib 3, won the under 23 10k classic last year in Planica. Here's Will Koch of the USA. Big shoes to fill for this young man, the son, as many of you will know, of the famous American Bill Koch, Olympic silver medalist for the USA. Kilian Koller, an impressive 2nd place in the 10k mass start in Oberstdorf 12 months ago. David Gio of Italy, just 20 years of age, 3rd in the 20k last year. Also got a bronze in the relay in Planica for Italy. Well, the timer has started, the gun is about to go, and we have about, I predict about, well, it'd be about 50 minutes of racing ahead of us. Away they go. 77 athletes making up this huge mass start here in Schilpario on day 4 of the FIS Junior World Championships, the under 23 category. 20-kilometer mass start. Disaster for, that is bib number 31, and caused a little bit of a that was Niilo Mäkinen of Finland, who had a problem, went down and caused a bit of a traffic jam coming through the initial section of the mass start. Well, not a good start for 5 or 6 of the athletes, and the better known contenders today not involved at all in that, won't even be aware of it, given that they are already out near the front. Anton Gran, you may have spotted, probably the tallest athlete in the field. He's already made his way up into about 20th place. Anton Gran, Tuesday's winner in the sprints. Wearing bib number 29, he is certainly the on-form athlete here. A week ago, Anton Gran of Sweden was the 3rd quickest qualifier in the World Cup, out sprinting in the qualification rounds all of the big names, apart from 2. so watch out for him. He's bib number 29. We'll see him, he's on the inside, just struggling to get through there, but he'll be making his way forward. A little stumble from Anton Grant, fortunately. All kinds of chaos of skis across, and I think, did I spot a broken ski there? No, everyone's moving again, so hopefully everyone is fine, but the top of that little hill, the first of the hills on this 4K loop, it won't be such a problem later on, as the field will be well strung out by the time we come back round here in about 10 minutes time. But in the mass start, that is always the problem, and it's a case of just trying to keep out of trouble. Give yourself enough room is exactly what they're doing now. Here was we saw the Finn go down, bib number 31, and he clearly took out one of the Swiss athletes. I don't know what number it is, bib 36 and 41. So the Swiss athlete was Nuffer of Switzerland, 41 was Daniel Peshkov of Bulgaria. Hopefully now, a couple of tangles early on in this race. Some of the athletes actually going really wide to avoid that. Smart move. Anton Gran of Sweden is already out of trouble now. An early move from Anton Gran meant that he avoided that clash, whereas teammate Oscar Algotsson of Sweden didn't, and he was held up for about 5-10 seconds maybe by that tangle. So not only has Gran done well to get himself up there and in the race, presumably he still is, haven't seen him drop back. I think he is there. He's still actually in about 19th place, I think. We're in bib number 29. No, he isn't. There he is on the left of our screen in second place, behind bib number 20, Alexander Stalberg of Finland. But in first place at the moment, Martino Carollo, just indicating that he needs a new pole. He's been handed one. Not unusual for the athletes to have problems in the early stage of these mass start races, but the pole he has is probably the wrong size. So coming through the 2,000 meter point, Martino, despite that pole problem, is in Martino Carollo is in first place. Matthias Holbeck of Norway in second. Alexander Stalberg of Finland third, and then another Finn, Nico Antola, in bib number 2 in fourth. Giacomo Petrini of Italy in fifth. Anton Gran, 29, bib number 29, has moved up into sixth place, the best of the Swedes at that point. And Elias Keck of Germany is in seventh. Molstad and then Björknes of Norway take up the next two places, and Kilian Koller of Germany in 10th. Just over halfway then around the first of these 4 kilometer loops that they will all do 5 times to make up the 20 Ks of this race. Once again, a pack of about 20 forming, and then a little bit of straggling back behind those. 20-25 managing to stay together at the lead currently, though. In first place, Anton Gran of Sweden. Already a world champion this week in the sprints on Tuesday. Tiny little slip from him right there. Now, sometimes that happens because you just switch off for a moment and you don't apply the technique so well. You don't press down as your body passes over the middle of the ski to grip the snow using the kick wax that's underneath the middle of these classic skis. Sometimes that's the cause of a fault, lax in technique, or it could be that the Swedish technicians have decided Anton Gran is tough enough to go light on the kick wax, and the benefit of that is, of course, that his skis will glide quicker on the downhill sections. So Martino Carollo on our right. We're in bib number 1, 21-year-old from Italy. Had a bit of a pole problem early on, but at the moment looks to me as if he's fine. There's plenty of Italian technicians with spare poles out on the course, and he's no longer indicating that he needs that to change. In bib number 20, Alexander Stalberg of Finland has moved up to one of the top 4 positions. But already a handful of athletes struggling to stay with this pace being set by Anton Gran of Sweden and Martino Carollo of Italy. So second of the hills completed. Out at the far end of the course, 3 hills actually completed if you include the first one after the mass start. They now head back toward the stadium and over the little bridge. This is where we get a chance to see who has the most phenomenal skis. There's someone in a red suit in about 10th place, just gliding past everyone, probably either one of the Norwegians or the Swiss, based on the colour of the suit. You can see how quick it is here. The camera really gives only a tiny indication of how tricky this bend is. 1 or 2 athletes having to step actually just outside the blue markers, thrown wide, not just by the course but by the traffic. They head down the hill now and will have to cross over a tiny little man-made hill in the form of a bridge that they ski under the next time they come to this section of the course. Do we have a faller? We do. Disaster. So much time lost. So much time lost on this section of the course. If you end up having a fall there, I think that was number 53, was it? If it was, then it was Horniak of Slovakia, but I'm not quite sure. I'm sure you spotted it, but I didn't. First time around this hairpin bend, which may prove significant if there's a sprint towards the end of this race. More fallers, just it's a traffic issue at that point, as opposed to the snow being too fast. Of course, they're not moving very quickly there. But often if the ski that you're on, and you put your weight on, just crosses the ski of one of your competitors, suddenly the edge. Let's have a quick look again at what happened there. So there's a lot of traffic here, 5 wide as they come round the bend. And I think it was one of the Finnish or the Italian athletes who just dropped to his knees. No major harm done at that point, but a bit frustrating. You can just see Gabe Gledhill coming through there. He's at the back of this pack. That's still part of this bunch that's about to come through the stadium. Let's see if we can spot where Gabe is in terms of position. We're in bib number 48. Everyone now just pausing a little to take a drink. First 4 kilometers done by Mans Skoglund in the lead in bib number 4, just under 10 minutes. And the whole of the field, more or less, still together as they come through the 4 kilometer point. Gabe Gledhill is in 40th position, just 11 seconds down. Those 11 seconds, the size of the pack. So Gledhill doing well at the moment for Great Britain out here at the Junior World Championships, the under 23 category, 20k mass start freestyle event. Mans Skoglund now of Sweden in bib number 4, I think it is. First through the stadium, and we'll get another split time in just a second. Okay, so they head up the first of the hills again, and Gabe Gledhill just on the right of our screen. He's wearing an orange hat, so that helps to make him easy to spot if you're watching from Great Britain today. And I know a lot of you are keen to see how he is progressing in his early career as he gains this valuable experience. He's one of those little hills I talked about earlier, where you just have to break into a little bit of herringbone style to get up and over this little lump. Everyone doing that, and as the sun is directly on it, it's more likely that the grip wax will let you down if you try and stay in the tracks. If you can stay in them, chances are the grip wax will slow you down on the downhill. Anton Grahn of Sweden there we saw, he's around about 5th, coming around that corner. Slowly, the pack is spreading out. The gap between the first and the middle of the field, say, beginning to be longer and longer. Quick recap then at the 4 kilometer point. Coming through the stadium, Skoglund of Sweden was first. Stahlberg of Finland, then Molstad in 3rd, Rantala of Finland in 4th. Lissahor of Ukraine in 5th, wearing bib number 22. Look out for him. The best we've seen from the Ukrainians this week. Elias Keck in 6th. Tom Wagner of Germany, another German just behind him in 7th. Savary of Switzerland in 8th. McKeever from Canada in bib number 18 in 9th. And then Petrini of Italy in 10th, the best of the Italians in the top 10. Xavier McKeever, good to see that he is there, wearing bib number 18. And should be able to spot him, sort of in the middle, drop back a few places alongside bib number 8, Brian Bushy. Actually, it's not 8, it's 6, I think it is, David Gio of Italy. About 7 lines back in the right-hand lane. The pace really slows off. Good to see Gabe Gledhill in bib number 48, still part of this bunch as they hit a slightly steeper section of this course. Those at the back of this little bunch having to ease off and slow down. There's Gabe in the orange hat. So mostly blue suit with a Union Jack on the right leg and an orange hat and wearing bib number 48. Gabe Gledhill of Great Britain. Part of the development squad for the last couple of years, comes from Scotland, Strathcona Nordic Ski Club team member. Around the bend at the top of this, the second climb on the 4 kilometer loop. Gledhill's skis are looking pretty good. So we're past the 6 kilometer point now, and another quick look back at this corner. That fence, you don't want to get tangled in that. Mario Matikanov of Bulgaria just falling short of the fence. It's a bit of a nightmare if you get your ski poles tangled in that fence. Out in front then, Nico Antola of Finland, part of the Senior World Championships team for Finland 2 years ago in Planica, when the Senior World Championships were there, just before, the year before the Junior World Championships were held there in Slovenia. Antolo did the anchor leg for the relay team that year. And it was a sprint to the line, and he out-sprinted Friedrich Moch of Germany to take silver for Finland that day, pushing Germany down into third. That was a big feather in his cap for the Finnish athlete, who currently is leading the way. Over on the opposite side to him is bib number 33, Eero Rantala, who came through the stadium first for Finland. And in the middle is bib number 3, Mathias Holbeck of Norway. World champion in this race, well, in the 10K race classic last year. and won the 20k 2 years ago in Whistler when he was a category younger, so in the junior class. Bib number 10 is Thomas Molstad of Norway. Molstad invited to race in the skiathlon in Lillehammer just before Christmas. World Cup 2 it was, 32nd place he got there. Got a little view of Will Koch of the USA in bib number 5, third in the Junior World Championships relay in Norway back in 2022. Probably the most prestigious result he's had so far, but following in the footsteps of Dad, Bill Koch, one of the iconic skiers of the late 70s, early 80s. Actually, the man credited with inventing the freestyle technique, and had his success really by leading the development of that technique and taking advantage of the relative inexperience that the rest of the world had in skating back in the early 80s. We got a little shot of Gabe Gledhill just coming down around that fast bend and indicating to the athlete just behind him that he needed space, and that it was going to be wise for both of them to allow him to have that space. Over the little bridge, and they'll swing left again up this fairly steep little climb to the U-turn at the top. It is Finland, Norway, Norway, Norway. I'm sure Anton Grand, there he is in, just changes track, in about 6th place, looking fairly comfortable with the pace, but Finland setting the quickest time to this point. Anton Gran steps tight around the corner, goes into 5th place. 3 Norwegians ahead of him and 1 Finnish athlete just leading the pace. And that was a fall and another little crash at a time when there really was no obvious indication of why someone should struggle on that bend. We can see a Norwegian support team member running back towards that crash with a ski pole in hand. It may well be, well, we can see there bib number 11, Max Holman of Canada, who was just putting on a new ski pole, so it could well be that that was Max that struggled on that corner for some reason and has needed a new ski pole. Everyone coming through the stadium now for the 2nd time, and almost everyone will take a drink. Antolo of Finland leads them out. Molstad of Norway is in 2nd. Anton Gran there comfortably in 3rd or 4th place, I think it was. Holbeck of Norway in 5th. Elias Keck of Germany in 6th. Martino Corolla wearing bib number 1 for Italy in 7th. Eero Rantala, who led the way through the last time we came through the stadium, wearing bib number 33 in 8th. David Gio of, here's that fall we saw earlier. I'm not sure, given how high the drone is, I'll be able to work out who that was, but sort of a reddish suit. And if it wasn't him who had the ski pole that was broken, it might have been broken nevertheless by someone who stayed on their feet. So coming up the hill for the 3rd time, Molstad of Norway leading the way. This whole field now stretched out by the pace that's being set by the Norwegian. 1 or 2 Finns in there in 4th place. Also is bib number 29, Anton Gran of Sweden, sprint world champion from 2 days ago. Everyone will be aware of the ability Anton has to just cruise away using that huge upper body power and leverage he's got. And so a number of people will inevitably be thinking right now, how do we play against the Finn today, the Swede today, who comes around the top of the bend in 3rd place? What do we need to do to get away from him in order to ensure we don't have to fight in the last 200 meters with Sweden's Anton Grahn? Down to the bridge, under the bridge, into the tight right-hander for the 3rd time. 22:30 it is at this stage. It's Anton Grahn, whose skis look pretty good coming down the hill in 1st place. I think that is Nico Antola of Finland. Certainly looked like a blue Finnish suit to me from the air. There's Gabe Gledhill just going under the bridge, so still looking good for Gabe. The gap is widening. We don't expect Gabe actually to be in the top 20 today. That would be a phenomenal result for him, and anywhere in the top half of the field, to be fair, would be a good performance from the young Brit. We'll try and follow his race all the way through. David Gio of Italy, bib number 6, just behind. I think it is one of the other Italian athletes in front of him, with Canada's Max Holman alongside him. I think it is, or could be, well, it's certainly one of the Canadians. Here's Xavier McKeever. There he comes in sort of 9th position. Erik Jonsson of Sweden, bib number 11. Position number 11, sorry. And let's see if we can spot Gabe Gledhill coming through. A couple of Germans, bib number 7 it is, bib number 7, Kilian Koller of Germany. Look at the way the pace now has stretched out the first 20 or so athletes, and a tiny gap beginning to appear even at the front, between the front 2 and then the top 5. That gap will quickly close up again as they bunch up, going up this longer hill on the 4-kilometer course. Beautiful conditions out here in northern Italy. We're about 100 miles southwest of the venue for the Winter Olympic Games cross-country races in Val di Fiemme, and it's exactly 365 days to go before the opening ceremony of the 2026 Olympic Games, the games that are jointly being held by Milan and Cortina, the Milano Cortina Olympic Games. A good idea, I think. The International Olympic Committee now starting to encourage countries rather than cities to host the games and spread the burden, and provides a considerably larger venue option. Of course, up here in northern Italy, they have so many wonderful courses like this. Looks to me like one of the Swedish athletes is struggling a little and taking a walk. Is it Sweden? It is. It's bib number 29. Who is that? So that is, my word, that is Anton Grahn. What has happened to Anton Grahn? He has just dropped right back off the pace and cannot stay with the speed that has been set by bib number 2 of Finland. That's Nico Antola, who is cruising ahead now and making it hard. And if someone of the quality of Anton Grahn has discovered that he can't stay with it, then it really does indicate that it is a vicious pace being set now by Finland's Nico Antila. It's Norway's Mathias Holberg in bib number 3. Last year's 10k winner in Planica. Here's Martino Carolo in bib number 1 for Italy. But Anton Gran to the right of our screen now, one of the early leaders in bib number 29 with his sleeves rolled up. Something has happened to the Swedish athlete who certainly was my favourite for the win today, but it's not going well, and he's already some way back and has lost touch with the leaders as they go over the hill and around the bend. He was in second place at 10,000 meters. It's going to be more like 15th, I think, by the time we get to the next checkpoint at 12Ks. It's Finland, Norway, and Norway in the first 3 positions. I suspect it's Elias Keck of Germany. I think that's the German in 4th. Again, wonderful pictures from the drones being deployed here above the lovely wide tracks here in Schilpario. Most of the stadium now is all in the sunshine, and the tracks will slow down as you hit that softer, warmer snow. It is Keck of Germany, and the lead 5 at 10 kilometer is now reduced to 4, with the absence of Sweden's Anton Gran and a very healthy gap being opened up. The speed actually being shared by Finland and Norway, with Germany in that pack. Elias Keck in bib number 12 of Germany has managed to break away with the 2 Norwegians and the best of the Finns, as it would appear right now. Elias Keck, 21-year-old, and already a double junior world champion. Won the interval 10k classic race last year in Planica, and won 2 years ago in Whistler. He was a junior back then in Planica, and of course 2 years ago, and now showing that a year later he can fairly comfortably move up into the under 23 category, and as it stands, looking like a medal might be possible. So Mathias Holbeck of Norway in 4th. Elias Keck of Germany in bib number 12 alongside him.
Number 3, Antola, still related together with Elias Keck, the German, and the 2 Norwegians, Holstein and Holberg. Wait to see who will be the first chaser.
A little further down, Stephen of Canada coming through 15 seconds down on the leaders. Xavier McKeever of Canada in 8th place. So 2 Canadians currently in the top 8 positions. Let me just take a quick moment to look further down the timings. Great Britain's Gabe Gledhill currently in 21st place, just 45 seconds off the pace, and having a brilliant race. He's 10 seconds up on USA's Will Koch in bib number 5, and considerably ahead of Man Skogland of Norway, Sweden, forgive me, who's in 23rd place. So just some good signs of Gabe Gledhill having a brilliant day out there today. If he could finish inside the top 20, that would be a stunning run for him, and certainly help with his progression towards the Olympic Games next year, where he would be racing if he qualified just up in the northeast of this venue, over the mountains. It's about 4 hours drive around, but only about 100 miles away as the crow flies. Obviously, these mountains making driving around here both scenic and slow, sadly. So Finland in the first position. In fifth, we can see it is Canada's Thomas Stephen in bib number 24. Another Canadian in this little pack, I think. Probably Xavier McKeever as well, up there, still inside the top 10. But 4 athletes have made a breakaway at the moment. It's Nico Antila of Finland, Elias Keck of Germany, and then Thomas Molstad of Norway, Matthias Holbeck also of Norway in this little breakaway group. 32 minutes into this race. 3 loops completed. The pace being set at the front, not looking as if it is super intense, but the fact that the field behind them has been really strung out indicates that it's quicker than it looks at this early stage, just starting the 4th of 5 loops. 4 men racing now for 3 medals that are up for grabs today. They will make their way up hill number 2 on this 4-kilometer loop. It's not the longest hill, and it doesn't take them to the highest point, but they will increase the gap now as they head slowly further away from the rest of the chasing pack. It's Germany's Elias Keck in 4th place, in the lead at the moment, wearing bib number 10. Thomas Molstad of Norway in 3, also of Norway, Matthias Holbeck, and Nico Antolo of Finland. He's done a lot of the work so far, to be fair, in 2nd place. No Anton Gran, he fell away around about 10 minutes ago. Something pretty significant happened. He just dropped right out of the pack. 4 go through checkpoint 1400, I think it is. It is the 4-kilometer point. Thomas Stephen of Canada out on his own now in bib number 24. And a reasonably large group with 2 Italians, 2 French, 1 Canadian, and Schilpario of Norway in bib number 27. The 4 athletes out front then: Molstad, Antola of Finland, Molstad of Norway, Holbeck of Norway in that group, and Elias Keck of Germany. So 3 nations making up the 4 quickest so far in today's 20-kilometer mass start race. They will know each other well enough to have already worked out which has the sprinting power for the end of this race, and who might need to break away and cause enough pain to just sap the sprint out of the legs of the others, and begin now to work out what the perfect strategy might be for each of them. Back in 5th place is Thomas Stephen of Canada, helped Canada to win that silver medal back in Oberwiesenthal when he was a junior 5 years ago now. That's the only medal that the Canadian currently has, but Thomas Stephen looking strong and may even be just inching his way back towards this group of 4 who are leading the way Finland's Nico Antola setting the pace at the front as we head up the longest of the hills here in Schilpario to the highest point. In third, it's Mathias Holbeck of Norway, under 23 10 kilometer classic champion last year in Planica. Elias Keck of Germany in bib number 12. Just trying to see if I can spot the orange hats of Gabe Gledhill in this group. He's not there. He's a little further back. There's Anton Gran. He's still in the race, but he's in around about 15th place or so, I think. 17th actually, coming past that marker. And Anton Gran now, having led the way earlier on, is 43 seconds down. These four, though, have set a blistering pace. They come back into the sunshine of the stadium and head down around that fastest bend, which caused problems for loads of people early on today. They'll get to the bottom, cross the little bridge, wind their way up the fourth of the hills in this 4 kilometer loop, and then come through the stadium for the last time, last opportunity to take a drink should they need to. The gap back to 5th place is significant enough that they don't need to worry about positions if a drink would help, and I suspect it would. Elias Keck of Germany in second, just behind Nico Anttila of Finland, with two quick Norwegians. Just tucking in is bib number 10, Thomas Molstad. And a little further back, just a little, is Mathias Holbeck in bib number 3.
We remind you that
Here they go then, into the stadium for the 4th time. The next time they come down these tracks, they'll be racing for medals. At the moment, it is a game of cat and mouse going on quietly inside the minds of these 4 athletes, each of them considering what is the best strategy now with 4 kilometers to go before they come around this bend for the last time. What strategy will they each choose to deploy to try to come in the medals? And obviously one of them will be junior under 23 world champion, the second of the under 23 male category medals handed out. Keck decides he doesn't need a drink, looks across to just check that he's got the room to step in front of Antola of Finland. Canada's Stephen has dropped back. He's still out on his own. Here he is, bib number 24. If everything goes reasonably well, he's going to end up in 5th place today, but the 3 medals are going to be shared out about around 2 Norwegians, 1 German, and Nico Antola of Finland making up the 4 coming through the stadium quickest for the very last time. All of these athletes now will be aware that the medals have gone. They'll be fighting for the lower ranked positions. Bib number 6 is David Gio of Italy. 3rd last year in Planica, but he's not going to go away with a medal in this race today. 2 medals from Planica World Championships in this Junior World Championships last year. Here they are then. The pace is not slow, but it's steady at this stage. Everyone just considering the best way to approach the last 3.5 kilometers of this race. At the moment, it's clear that the medals are going to go, well, one of them will go to Norway. That's the only thing we can be certain of, assuming there are no crashes or other dramas in the rest of this 20k race. We round the top of this bend for the first time. A little bit of strategy being deployed there from Mathias Holbeck of Norway. Allows teammate Molstad of Norway to just come to the front and take the lead going down the hill here. Bib number 10 of Norway now out in front with a little gap. I think it looks like it's possibly Finland's Antola in second. No, that's definitely Antola at the back. So it's Norway, Germany, Finland coming down towards the little bridge that they will go under for the last time. Swing round to the right, a tight exit from this fast corner, avoiding tangling yourself up in those fence cables. And 4 athletes now looking relatively easily matched. Antola of Finland has had success in the senior World Cup team for Finland in years gone by, the highlight of which was out sprinting Friedrich Moch of Germany into silver in the World Championships 2 years ago, the Senior World Championships, racing as a junior then for Finland, did the anchor leg and got a stunning wing. So we know he can sprint and may be looking to repeat that performance against another German. On this occasion, Elias Keck of Germany just in front of him now, but the 2 athletes leading the way as it stands. In third is Mathias Holbeck of Norway, but just at the front, not pushing the pace too hard. They're all now just holding back a little. The pace is quick, but well within the capability of all 4 of these athletes. They no longer need to worry about the rest of the field. Canada's Thomas Stephen is, well, what was he? He was about 24 seconds behind going through the stadium. So that gap is way too big for him to close now on the leaders. And we'll just be hoping to get across the line in 5th place. We've had at least 4 athletes who have dropped out of this race so far. Of the 77 who started, 1 or 2 will have had to drop out because of ski problems, ski poles or crashes. This little pack here has got Anton Grahn in it, who will have to be satisfied as it stands with his gold from 2 days ago. But they are going to be around about a minute, more or less, off the pace. Maybe just under by the time they come through here. 52 seconds down. The gap is wide, and the 4 or 5, if you include Thomas Stephen, who is out on his own having to work hard. He's a good 30 seconds up on this pack, so they're not likely to catch him. Even the likes of Anton Grahn, if he's feeling revived now, surely couldn't close 30 seconds on Canada's Thomas Stephen in bib number 24. So we have at the front again a little challenge coming from Elias Keck of Germany on the left-hand side. Moved out. Tempo has increased, and look at this now. Mathias Holbeck of Norway starts to push the pace. He's relatively easily matched, it would appear, by Thomas Molstad, also of Norway, whose tempo is slightly slower, but he's staying just behind Holbeck of Norway. And Elias Keck of Germany at the back of these 3, as now Holbeck decides to push the pace a little and causes pain behind him. It is obviously painful as the gap is opening now back to Team Finland in 2, and colleague Norway's number 10, Thomas Molstad, in 2nd place. Elias Keck looks back, didn't need to do that to check the track was clear, so it looks to me as if Elias Keck of Germany is going to have to accept he's not going to make the podium today. At the moment, it is a surging Mathias Holbeck of Norway who is cruising ahead with less than 2 kilometers to go now before he crosses the line, and it could well be a Norway win and a fight for silver. It was a Sweden win earlier on for Marta Rosenberg. No Swedes in sight of the podium today, though, in the men's race. Norway, Mathias Holbeck leads the way. Last year's under-23 10-kilometer classic champion in Planica. So he's won this category in the 10-kilometer classic race. Today, it looks as if he's going to grab himself another medal in the classic 20k mass start. Down he goes, the hill, just allowing him to increase the gap as he steps comfortably around the fastest part of that downhill section, the fastest part of this course today. The gap is big enough for Holbeck to start to appreciate and enjoy the fact that he's going to enter the stadium on his own with a big enough lead to not need to kick and sprint. Back in 2nd and 3rd place, though, it is teammate Thomas Molstad of Norway and Finland's Nico Antola, who we know can sprint, so Molstad will be aware of that and will have to try to position himself to ensure that whatever he can produce in the last 200 meters will be good enough to out-sprint the Finn. Here comes bib number 3, Mathias Holbeck of Norway, already a double world champion in the junior category. A quick look back now from Thomas Molstad. Surely he didn't need to do that to check where Antola was, possibly more concerned about the German making a comeback, but the gap back to Elias Keck is too big. It's Finland versus Norway for silver today. The gold medal has already gone. There it goes down the hill. Mathias Holbeck guaranteed now to take gold, and in 2nd place is Nico Antola. Just behind him in the perfect tactical position, though, Thomas Molstad of Norway. And what can he do in the last 60 seconds of this race? We're at 49.31. The win will be just over 50 minutes. It's Norway in 1st place. There he goes. Mathias Holbeck made a decisive move 2 kilometers ago, approaching the highest point of this last loop in the 20k freestyle, forgive me, classic mass start here in Schilpario. In 2nd place, currently, Nico Antola, and just behind him, Thomas Molstad. Holbeck looks back just to check. He can cruise across the line. The race now is hotting up behind him. Antola of Finland versus Molstad of Norway. Who is going to get the silver? It's going to be Finland. The gap just big enough for him to cruise across the line. Norway in 1. Antola of Finland in 2nd place. And Molstad of Norway in 3rd. Germany's Elias Keck cruises across the line in a comfortable 4th place. No point in having to work any harder, and no opportunity to close the gap to the first 3 podium places. Here comes for Canada in 5th place, Thomas Stephen crosses the line 30 seconds down. A good result from Thomas Stephen. We've got Norway's bib number 32, Schulberg coming through, and a fight for the minor places. Canada's Xavier McKeever takes 7th. Switzerland's best skier today, Savary, in 8th. France gets 9th, just inside the top 10, with Prime and Martino Carolo of Italy Bib number 1 comes across the line in 10th place.
14esimo Calderini, 15esimo Johansson, 16esimo l'atleta della Valle di Fiemme Zorzi, 17e place pour le français Mathieu Blanc e al 18esimo Lars Michael Bjarnas.
So there we go. We're also seeing the first Italian, that's Martino Carolo in 10th position, 11th, and Davide Ghio. Well done. That's the smile of the new world champion, Matthias Holberg. Well done. Congratulations to Norway that is able to catch another gold medal with a fantastic performance by Matthias Holberg. Born in 2003, then Nico Antola, second place and silver medalist. Molstad will get a bronze medal, and Jaske, the fourth position. Canada on our stage today, also for the male category after the bronze medal in the ladies category. We'll have Thomas Steven and the sixth position of Jürgen Schilpario. Congratulations for all the athletes that
Gabe Gledhill comes across the line in 26th or 27th place. Came across the line with Kilian Kuller of Germany, who's in bib number 7, who has a few big wins to his name, the German. So that is a really excellent result for Gabe Gledhill. 26th place, 2:10 down on Holbeck of Norway, ahead of a number of strong performers from Germany and from the USA. So that is going to be very satisfying for Gabe and for the rest of the British team out here in Schilpario. Roy Young, head coach of the team out here in Italy, will, I'm sure, be really impressed with that. And we can celebrate a top 30 place for Gabe today. And he will analyse the results later on to see who he has beaten. Includes bib number 16 of Italy, Petrini, Giacomo Petrini, who comes across the line in 37th place. 11 behind Gabe Gledhill. So yeah, just want to take a moment to acknowledge that, but let's have a look back at how the race unfolded. It really became a 4-horse race once we got to the halfway point. 2 Norwegians with Matthias Holbeck of Norway proving at the end of the day to be the man to beat. Last year's champion in the shorter individual race in Planica takes another gold medal here in Schilpario. Finland just pushing and managing to hold off the late surge from Norway's Molstad. Nico Antola grabs silver for Finland. Molstad of Norway in 3rd. Well, who do you call 5 minutes after you've just become world champion once again? Probably your mum. But, they're celebrating there. Bib number 50 just coming into the finish for Austria. I think that was Kilian Kerr of Austria. Here comes 52, Kasanov of Kazakhstan. Best of the Kazakhstan athletes. Let me have a quick look. Bazarbekov was in 22nd. That is the best of the Kazakhstan athletes. Anton Gran today, finishing today's 20k race in 20th place. Minute 54 down on Holbeck of Norway. Something very significant happened to him around about the halfway point, where he had been up there in the lead pack for most of the group and looked like it was going to be another potential win for Sweden after Marta Rosenberg's win earlier on today, but then suddenly eased off and dropped back into about 20th position and then stayed there for the race.
Yeah, I heard with him where I can find you. Perfect. It's good. Yeah.
We're not likely to get an interview with Anton Gran, Tuesday's Junior World Champion in the under-23 category, but we probably will hear from Holbeck shortly, and hopefully from Antola of Finland and Norway's Thomas Molstad. So we're just getting those interviews set up. As we see the last few coming across the line. 77 started today, and it looks as if actually there were a few who did not start, having been on the start list, 3 actually, and at least a handful, 5 or 6, who have not managed to complete today's race for one reason or another. But let's hear from some of our medalists in a moment or two and get some of their comments on today's performance. Here's a delighted Matthias Holbeck. Job done. Another 2 opportunities for this young man. On Saturday is the time trial in the shorter distance race, 10 kilometers, but that is freestyle. And we switch to freestyle tomorrow for the juniors, the under-20s. They will go in the time trial tomorrow. 10 kilometer freestyle over these same tracks. Then on Sunday, we have the mixed team relays coming up in both age group categories on Sunday. 2 men, 2 women from each age group, from each nation, each doing 5 kilometers and then handing over current champions from Whistler 2 years ago, France, Sweden, and then Switzerland in the mixed relays. And a year ago in Slovenia, Canada took the win, France was second and Sweden in third. That was a big day for Canada and really good for the support that they need. 2 years ago, as it was, 2 years, I should say, between that win for Canada in the mixed relay and then the upcoming Winter Olympic Games. 365 days from now, the opening ceremony will happen down in Milan, I expect, about 100 kilometers south west of us here.
No, mi pasa nada. tuta bianca.
Anche questa però è esercito, non so se...
No, no, io non ce l'avevo lo strappo.
Ah ok, questo è del Pedro allora.
Well, 77 athletes set off at noon here in Schilpario in the sunshine. There was all kinds of chaos in the mass start and a few other places in this course today where there were tangles and traffic jams galore. But 4 athletes started early on to make a break away from the pack. It became a race between Norway's Holbæk and Molstad, and one German by the name of Elias Keck and Finland's Nico Antola, who pulled ahead, and all the time quietly Mattias Holbæk in bib number 3 was just pushing the pace and pushing the pace, just sapping the strength out of the legs of the other 3 in this race. The 4 athletes chasing 3 medals, with Canada's Stephen back in 5th place, just unable to close the gap. But with about 2 kilometers to go, Mattias Holbæk in bib number 3 of Norway made a break and no one could respond. His was the gold medal until I looked round to see whether the other medals would be divided by 2 or 3. it became just two of them, and Tillett managing to secure second for Finland, with Norway's Molstad crossing the line in third. Another win for Norway here in Schilpario.
Matthias, junior world champion 2 years ago, under 23 world champion last year, and now one more time. What does this victory mean to you?
It means it's a hat trick.
Absolutely. Was it a special tactic today for you today?
Yeah, under the race, I was a little aggressive at the upwarming to take on a lot of wax. So I felt that I had not so good ski stone, but it was a fantastic app. So I need to do the best of that, and then I go from the bottom of the longest hill.
You're such a classical specialist. Will you get your chance on the 10K?
Yeah, I think it's I had chance both classic and skate, but maybe I have some more merits on the classic. But if I get the chance on skate, I think I can have a good day there also.
Kan du si noe på norsk nå?
Ja, jeg var så nervøs på frokosten at jeg klarte ikke å få i noe mat nesten, så nå falt det 100 kilo av skuldrene. Det er deilig før et par dager til her.
Tusen takk, congrats. Nico, amazing race today. You get the silver. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, I'm very happy with that. Matthias was just too strong today.
You're such a good classical technique specialist. Do you think it helps you today to be on the second position?
Yeah, I think my diagonal was quite good today on that biggest hill, so it was very nice track today.
Will you be in the Finnish team in Trondheim?
I don't know yet.
Okay, can you say something in Finnish now?
Kiitos huollolle ja koko joukkueelle. Oli hyvä päivä tiimiltä tänään, niin kiitos kaikille, jotka oli tänään mukana.
Congrats. Thomas, you got the third place 2 years ago in junior category. Now you get one more time the third place. Are you happy with that?
I'm happy. It's my first medal in classic, and yesterday Matthias was just too strong, and yes, I had a hope for the silver there in the last sprint, but to take a medal, I'm happy.
As a Norwegian, how do you like the tracks here in Italy?
For me, it's very good. I like the long hills, and here we do that. We have that long hill 5 times, so I think that really the group was just in pieces. So I like when it's like that.
Will we see you on the 10K also?
Yes, I will be there, and hope to climb up a bit further in the podium.
Nå kan du si noe på norsk.
Ja, jeg veldig fornøyd med å ta medalje da. Mathias var veldig sterk, og ja, jeg hadde håp om å kunne kjempe om sølv der når jeg kom inn på oppløpet, men ja, bronse i dag jeg er fornøyd med det.
Tusen takk. Congrats.
So we're going to hold the German athletes, if they can come close to the award ceremony area. Also bitte alle die Athleten aus Deutschland, die für die Siegerehrung hier sein sollten, bitte hier also neben der Bühne kommen. Also die deutschen Athleten, wir warten auf die deutschen Athleten für die Siegerehrung.